A popular villain from Stranger Things has more to tell and show us. Maybe the past of Eleven's villainous papa is about to come to light, and we've got some really exciting details about a Stranger Things villain getting a prequel. Watch until the end because you'll be shocked by what we tell you. Dark Horse announcement. The world of Stranger Things has grown even bigger because of the several tie-in comics from Dark Horse. The comics offer new perspectives on the show, including Will Byers' time in the Upside Down during the first season, or tell new stories with existing characters such as Lucas and Claire's sister Erica. The books have also shown the dark history of locations in Stranger Things like Hawkins National Laboratory. Dark Horse Comics has announced that its next Stranger Things series is set to delve into the dark past of the enigmatic Dr. Brenner. Brenner, who helped Eleven hone her telekinetic powers at the infamous Hawkins National Laboratory, was the show's main villain until he was mauled by a Demogorgon at the end of Season 1. But he made a surprise return this season, and MODINE brought his unique sense of intellectual menace to flashbacks that filled in the origin stories for Eleven and the villainous Vecna, as well as to a subplot in which he forced Eleven to relearn her very special set of skills. Brenner again met what appeared to be a violent end, being shot multiple times by a sniper from a helicopter in the season's penultimate episode. But is he gone for good? While the show has explored the awful events orchestrated by Dr. Martin Brenner in the past, a new miniseries from Dark Horse will give us deeper insights into the history of the man Eleven was forced to call Papa. Dark Horse has a new Stranger Things book, Stranger Things: The Many Ghosts of Dr. Brenner. While the show does a great job, the comics offer a chance to flesh out characters and add to the lure of the overall series. Past miniseries have introduced fans to new characters, such as several of Martin Brenner's previous test subjects, and elaborated on characters that don't often get the spotlight in the main series. Brenner does not take a large focus in the show's first and fourth seasons, but his past remains relatively unknown. An eerie synopsis Dark Horse is giving away sounds like this. The year is 1968. Dr. Martin Brenner, a disgraced American scientist, returns to the abandoned lab where he and his colleagues collected research for top-secret government projects. But Brenner's unfinished business in his old lab isn't the only thing haunting him. A ghostly face from his past seems to be following his every step. Even though the character died in the fourth season, chances are that fans have seen the last of Martin Brenner. It's like an iceberg. We've just seen the top of it, but what is hidden under the sea? What's the basis? There are many yet unanswered questions about the origins of the project that eventually discovered Upside Down. Who is Brenner in the years before his ultimate project went sideways? Maybe his past will impact the future of Hawkins in the upcoming and final season. Who knows? What does Matthew Modine say? Let's get back to the question if he's gone for good. Well, nobody knows that. Not even Matthew Modine, who's the actor behind the role of Dr. Brenner. But one thing is for sure, he definitely wants to come back somehow and rejoin the show. Should we take this as a hint? Maybe. When asked if there is something left for him to unpack, he replied, "Absolutely. I would also say, there's an interesting thing that the Duffer Brothers put into the story. It's never really explained how Brenner survived the Demogorgon. How is it that he also survived Vecna? The door hit him in the face and broke his nose, but he survived. Why didn't he die with everybody else? And when Eleven, after successfully getting her power back and blowing those guards up in the air, tries to use the power against me," Brenner says, "You really didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you?" It leaves an opening in my mind that maybe there's more to Brenner than meets the eye. He was also asked if he thinks Dr. Brenner's a villain, and that question sounded like a puzzle for him. Well, that's an interesting question. Ambition is such a complicated thing. The question that I think you're asking is Brenner capable of empathy and compassion? Did he love the numbers? Did he love 11? There's no question that I, as a performer, wanted to imbue the character with that love and compassion for them. He wasn't just exploiting them, he absolutely loved them. 11 excelled at what Brenner was trying to discover, this ability to have telekinetic powers. Brenner's trying to understand that power of thought. Is it possible to manifest those things that you think? An interesting thing is that he encourages her to use her anger, and that's where 11's power comes from. Almost every time she uses the power, it's in a destructive way. I think that's a fascinating thing that maybe in Season 5 the Duffer Brothers will explore. The destructive power of our thoughts, he said. Is he alive? Matthew Modine actually believes that the Doctor's still alive despite being shot multiple times the last time viewers saw him. He wants his questions to be answered. If we look at him from the Duffer's view, it would be a great move. Bringing Dr. Brenner back reintroduces Eleven's roots, which makes both her and her powers all the more intriguing to learn about. That whole subplot played a huge part in why fans tuned in. Hence, it would make sense that Dr. Brenner's time on the show wouldn't be over quite yet. Although if that were the case, they're going to have a lot of explaining to do. Plus, now that the show has entered its final season, we may get to see more nuance to Brenner's character. Even though his main goal was to help Eleven reach her potential, it was because he cared about her more than anything. With whoever the show's big baddie is supposed to be in its last season, whether it's Vecna or someone even worse than him, Brenner could be the key to how the gang overcomes what's to come from the Upside Down. Theories about Dr. Brenner. At the end of Stranger Things Season 1, it seemed like Brenner got what he deserved when the Demogorgon attacked him. But Season 2 revealed that he's still alive, though he didn't appear in Season 3. So everyone wants to know, where could Dr. Brenner have been between Stranger Things Seasons 3 and 4? One of the popular beliefs was that Dr. Brenner was in Russia before Season 4. Before the reveal that Jim Hopper is still alive and a prisoner, many fans believed it was actually Brenner. Brenner could have been an active collaborator with the Russians, which would explain why they know about the Upside Down and how they can keep a Demogorgon. How Brenner would end up on the other side of the world or the nature of his Russian connections is unknown, but some believe he could have gotten there through the Upside Down. Dark Horse Comics has revealed Russia's version of Brenner. Stranger Things Kamchatka by Michael Morecki, Todor Hristov, Dan Jackson, and Nate Picos is centered upon the Russian version of Dr. Brenner and his family. Dr. Boris Orlov seems to be something of an expert on telekinesis, even inventing technology that he believes will amplify psychic powers. But where Dr. Brenner's focus was to unlock psychic powers to be used in espionage, Dr. Orlov theorized telekinesis was the way to unlock the multiverse. His studies clearly provide a pseudo-scientific basis for understanding how Eleven opened the gate at Hawkins in the first place. But Dr. Orlov is a better man than Dr. Brenner. Kamchatka Group recruited him to help them keep the Demogorgon alive, and he was immediately horrified, attempting to hide his prototype telekinetic enhancer from them because he feared the use it could be put to. It's taken by his children, who go on the run with it in the hopes of finding a way to get their father back. It's the kind of action the U.S. scientist Dr. Brenner would never consider. Prequel's release date. The first issue is set to release on January 11th, 2023. It might actually be the answer to a bigger and probably more interesting question about the life of Stranger Things after the series wraps up next season. Although we've got almost no information about the possible spinoff, creators Matt and Ross Duffer can only promise that the spinoff will be 1,000% different from Stranger Things. I've read these rumors that there's going to be an 11 spinoff, that there's going to be a Steve and Dustin spinoff, or that it's another number. That's not interesting to me because we've done all that. We've spent, I don't know, how many hours exploring all of that. So it's very different, they said. What do you think about Dr. Brenner getting a prequel? Let us know in the comments down below.